of our core values. I am destined. I am effective. I am strong. I am teachable. I am intelligent. I am noble. I am yours, Lord.
Sometimes it's hard to wait for all the things that I want. Sometimes I kind of feel like it's just taking too long to get the things I want, what I think I need, but I know you know what's best for me. I'm gonna live what I believe. I'm gonna wait cause I know you're still working. I'm gonna have patience cause it'll be worth it. I'm gonna have faith, I know you have a purpose. I'm gonna wait cause I know you're still working on me. Still working on me. I know that sometimes I just need to slow down and trust that you are working all of this out. You know the things I want, what I think I need, but I know you know what's best for me. I'm gonna live what I believe. I'm gonna wait cause I know you're still working. I'm gonna have patience cause it'll be worth it. I'm gonna have faith, I know you have a purpose. I'm gonna wait cause I know you're still working on me. Still working on me. I'm gonna hold up, slow down. I'm gonna trust that you're working it out. I'm gonna hold up, slow down. I'm gonna trust that you're working it out. I'm gonna hold up, slow down. I'm gonna trust that you're working it out. I'm gonna hold up, slow down. I'm gonna trust that you're working it out. I'm gonna wait cause I know you're still working. I'm gonna have patience cause it'll be worth it. I'm gonna have faith, I know you have a purpose. I'm gonna wait cause I know you're still working on me. Still working on me. Still working on me.
Ooh, a marshmallow.
Sure. Eat the mallow, miss out on something better.
What do you mean?
If you wait and don't eat that mallow until I return, then you will receive something even better than a mere measly mallow.
Better than a marshmallow?
Not one bite.
Okay.
Come on. Okay. I don't think he can wait and resist eating that marshmallow, but if he can, I'm going to give him an entire bag of marshmallows. All right, here we go. Count to 10. 1, 2. All right, let's go. Where's the desk? Did you eat the desk? You ate the desk!
I didn't eat the marshmallow! Oh.
All right.
Oh. Hey everybody, I'm John.
And I'm Brandon, and welcome to the So-and-So Show.
You've been waiting a whole week to see this show. Thank you for your patience. I know you won't be disappointed.
Did somebody say manners?
No?
I am Melinda manners, and I can always tell when my help is needed. I can sense when someone is being mannerly. And when someone is not.
Oh yeah, all right.
Chair.
Weren't expecting.
So, my dear boys, what seems to be the problem today?
No problem. We're just trying to get the show rolling. so-
Patience, my dear boys, patience. It's one of the most important manners. I wrote an entire symphony on patience once.
Oh, is that right? Let's... Nice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning so much from that.
Oh, that's just the tip of the ice cube.
Oh no, that's not the way that...
If you want to be mannerly, don't speak out, just sit quietly. Don't correct or presume, just sit tight and listen to me. Now, I meant what I said about sitting tight. Shoulders back, boys. It is unmannerly to slouch. Better?
So, Melinda, now that you're here, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh, so many things. There's nothing unmannerly about having fun, after all. I keep my favorite things with me at all times. Let's see. Oh, yes. Hold this, please.
Yes.
Okay. Oh. A ball for baskets. A screen flat for movies. And this electronic sewing box.
Wow, you certainly do know how to have fun.
How did you pull all of this out of that bag?
I may be delicate in my manners, but I am a strong woman. Manners and strength are like peas and carrots. They go together like deserts and ferrets.
How do deserts and ferrets go together?
Now, my most favorite fun to have is the kind that you can really learn from.
Ooh.
Let's play a little game I like to call Bake and Wait. Our preparations are complete. Now we simply need to insert the pan into the oven. And in 27 short minutes, we can enjoy some delicious light bulb heated balls of cookie dough.
27 minutes?
Hey, this may take a while. You may want to speed through. Finally.
Let's eat.
Actually, now the cookies have to sit in the cooling chamber for 5 minutes.
Oh, no, thank you. Wow!
It would be unmannerly for me to say I told you so. So I'll just sing it. Being patient is always right, but you didn't listen, for you're not so bright.
It's Bible story time and Kellen.
Hey guys!
Hey, Kellen.
What's up today, Kellen?
Well, today we're looking at something that happened in the very first book of the Bible. That's right, Genesis. Specifically, Genesis chapter 25. This is the story of two twin brothers, Jacob and Esau.
It wasn't my fault. Jacob tricked me.
What's going on?
You can't prove anything, Esau. Yes, I can, Tricky McTrickerface. That's not my name. It should be.
Okay, slow down. I think we might need some kind of judge to handle this.
You have just stepped into the courtroom of Judge Trudy. The cases are biblical. The people are historical. The courtroom is not real at all. This is Judge Trudy.
Just to be clear, this courtroom did not appear in the Bible.
Oh, I'll take it from here, Kellen. So, Esau, says here in your case file that you were born first. So you got your family's rights and inheritance. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was born first. It is my birthright. Mine.
Well, a birthright is a really big deal. It means you'll get more of your father's wealth and property, and that you'll become leader of the family.
Yeah, that's right.
But Jacob, you stole the birthright from your older brother, correct?
No, I did not steal it. He sold it to me, fair and square. The trickster, at it again. You were the one who made the trade.
Order! I need to know the real story. Bailiff, roll the security footage.
Jacob, quick, I'm insanely hungry. Feed me some of that stew.
Sure, but first you have to sell me your birthright.
Look, I'm dying of hunger. What good are those rights to me now?
Promise me. Promise me you'll sell me your rights.
Fine, I can't wait any longer. I promise to give you my birthright.
Wait, Esau, did you not even value your birthright?
I was hungry.
But you didn't have one bit of patience. You could have waited and eaten something else later. Let me ask you something. Was the stew worth it?
It was okay.
Tasteless, but for a moment. But your birthright would have affected generations. It seems to me, Esau, that your complaint against your brother is your own fault. I cannot rule in your favor. You made your choice. Court is adjourned.
This has been Judge Trudy.
Even though there's no way that was the real Jacob and Esau, Judge Trudy summed it up well. Esau did not value his rights as the firstborn son. Being impatient made him sell something that was worth more than we can imagine for the price of one little bowl of stew.
Bummer.
Seriously, being impatient can actually cost you.
Totally. When we're not patient, we rush in without thinking about the consequences.
Oh, I know. I bent my tongue.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I think we can avoid a lot of problems if we just pause and think before we act. There's a lot we can miss out on when we're not willing to wait.
It's good to hear. Thanks, Kellen.
Yeah, thanks.
You got it. I'll see you guys next time.
I think of the end of that today.
Put that away, please.
Sorry.
Reveal the question. What could you miss out on by not waiting?
Yeah, like when you eat snacks before dinner and then you're not hungry and it turns out to be your favorite meal. That's a bummer.
Yeah, or you can miss out on spending time with your friends who are running late because you didn't want to wait for them.
Or maybe something even more drastic, like in Esau's case. Talk about it together, and we'll see you next time. I'm John.
And I'm Brandon, and this was
The So-and-so Show.
And keep going. Nice. We're really coming into it now. Now it's time for the big finish.
All right.
Oh, I left the blowtorch on.
Well, welcome to this week's episode of Culture Makers. My name is James Meehan. This is Ariana Lane. She is guest hosting with us. And today, we're talking about should Christians cuss, March Madness, and how we need to stop the hate. It's going to be a great episode, and we're so thankful that you're joining with us. Kicking things off, we have a question from Lachey Miller.
Okay.
And Ariana, what you need to know is that Lachey Miller has frequently been watching our videos, leaving incredible questions. So please keep up the good work. Lachey, we love getting to hear from you and answer those questions. This question is for you specifically. Now, Lachey didn't say that, but I'm adding that. What is your opinion on cursing/swearing? Go.
All right. Wow, I kind of feeling the pressure. Okay, so...
I mean, if you get this wrong, then literally you will be leading hundreds, potentially thousands of people astray. No pressure.
Okay, well, that is a valid question because I feel like we are faced with that all the time. We hear it in all the music that we listen to.
Yeah, we do.
Popular music.
Or maybe the music you listen to.
Okay, you don't have to call me out like that. You don't have to call me out. Movies, TV shows, maybe our friends even. But I really try to look through the lens of building others up with my language. So whatever that means, it typically doesn't include cursing for me personally. And I think, as believers, we should always be trying to build up others, equip others, and speak truth and life into them. So that, in my opinion, doesn't include cursing.
That's so good. I mean, I like what you talked about, though, putting the emphasis on how do we build people up. Because I know for me personally, I used to be so proud of how easily I could tear people down. And I would throw in, and again, these are a long time ago. I'm almost fully sanctified. Just kidding. I've still got a long ways to go. Here's the thing. I know that when I was in middle school and especially high school, one of my favorite things to do was just to belittle people, to tear them down. Yeah. And I would add in curse words to increase the harshness of what I would say. And now, one of the things I'm working on is becoming more like Jesus. And in Galatians chapter 5, the Apostle Paul talks about one of the fruits of the Spirit is gentleness. And that one is literally so hard for me to actually live out.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that if I can be really intentional with my words, I want to choose words that are more gentle, more uplifting, more life-giving, rather than harsh and tearing people down. And so for me, that's part of why I choose not to cuss or swear or however you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I really do think that the most important thing is our heart, is our intentions. Are we trying to build people up or tear them down? And if we are trying to build them up, then what is the best way we can do that? And what are the most effective words to accomplish that goal? And so I think it's great. Good memories. All right, next up on the list, we're talking about something that is actually super unfortunate, and it is the amount of violence and discrimination that's being perpetrated against Asian Americans. There's a hashtag you might be familiar with called #StopAsianHate. And the reason why I want to talk about this is just the reality that for those of us who are followers of Jesus, who consider ourselves Christians, what we know is that we are called by God to love and serve others, regardless of the color of their skin or where they might be from. And it's just one of those things I think can be really heartbreaking, knowing that we do live in a world where there are people who choose to do things to others that is just not okay. Right. And for those of us who are Christians, man, we want to look for opportunities to share love, to stop hate, and to find people who are hurting and offer them help. Ariana, do you have any other thoughts on that?
What this makes me think of is just the importance of checking in on your friends, on those people who are either taking in all this information or news, and just do what you can to love them and serve them and have those conversations with your friends and your family and just check in.
That's so good. One of the things that I think is really easy for me to do is get really angry at the people who are causing the hate and who are, acting out and doing the discriminating things.
Right.
And what I think is really interesting about the way of Jesus and Christianity is, Christianity actually didn't put the spotlight on the villains. Christianity puts the spotlight on the victim. And it was Jesus who's crucified on a cross who is the hero of the story. And I think that there are times where I can hear a news story about somebody who does something wrong, and all of my energy and anger can be directed towards that person to the point where I forget about the victims and the people who are hurting. And so literally this last week, I remember reading a story about a guy who did some really horrible things and ended up killing multiple people. Wow. And I literally had to pause and direct some of my anger away from him, and then begin to just pray for the families and the friends of those people who had been killed, because it's just one of those things where I think that if we are putting all of our attention on who might be the villain in the story, and we're forgetting about the victims, the people who are hurting, who are literally having to deal with the horrible things that have been done to them, then I think we might be missing an opportunity for us to show mercy and love and compassion to those people. And so, like I said, I had to repent of my own anger and choose to actually pray for those people, because again, if all we do is glorify the people who are doing the wrong things without showing mercy to the people who are being hurt, I think there's some opportunities that we're leaving open that we're not stepping into, that I really do believe as followers of Jesus we're called to be a light in those dark times, to bring hope and healing to people who are hurting.
Definitely.
Changing the topic.
Okay. To... You got a question?
Well, yeah, hold on.
What is it?
I'm putting all this pause because this is something that we've been building up towards for multiple weeks.
Okay.
For several weeks now, we've been talking about a show that just released on Friday.
Okay.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. And dear Lord, have mercy. Episode 1 has been released. It is on Disney+.
Wow.
It's really good. I'm not going to say any more. We've been building up. I don't want to tell you anything. You know, if you've got Disney+, maybe check it out. If not, comment down below and tell me why you hate me personally.
I'll check it out. I honestly don't know what you're talking about, but I'm excited to
Wow,
watch
I
it.
take personal offense at that. Next question. Ariana, this is for you.
Okay.
How should Christians respond to things like K-pop? So this is a genre where Korean singers often refer to themselves as idols, not just run-of-the-mill celebrities. So what's y'all's take and point of view? Should I continue to listen to these foreign artists if I myself only see them as musicians and God's children? And there are even some K-pop artists that are Christians too. This is from Safari Guide 1. So how should we respond as Christians to things like K-pop?
That is also such a great question. I totally understand having a bunch of different genres that you love. That's personally me. Like, I have a ton of different music tastes that I really love to listen to. I think the place we have to be careful is that idol word. Like, just just placing anything, a person, a relationship, working out, your dog, whatever it is, if it's an idol in your life and that is not the Lord, then that is just not how we're called to live. So I would definitely stay away from that and be careful of that. But I don't think that you can't listen to K-pop.
Right. Well, I think what's interesting too is how Safari Guide pointed out how in this genre the singers refer to themselves as idols instead of celebrities. But the reality is that oftentimes the word celebrity and idol can be interchangeable.
Totally.
Right? Just because we don't call our celebrities idols doesn't mean that we don't have to face the temptation of making them idols.
Right.
Which is literally just anything that we put before God becomes an idol. And the things that we worship, which is the things that we idolize, will absolutely shape who we are. And the unfortunate reality is that when we worship anyone or anything besides God, it's going to turn us into people that honestly we don't want to be. Like, I don't want to be the kind of person that is obsessed over money or fame or fortune or any of those other things. I want to be the kind of person who's obsessed about love, about justice, and about goodness. And it is through worshiping God and putting Him first that we become that kind of person. And so, as far as K-pop goes, if you enjoy listening to K-pop, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you find yourself tempted to idolize those K-pop singers, then I think that's a really important thing to ask yourself, okay, like, what is it about them that I'm idolizing? And why is it that I'm putting that in front of God? So, last question before we close this thing out.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
We saved the best for last. This is from somebody who sent us a DM on Instagram. It was God's Daily Messages sent this to us. So it looks like they've got an account where they're just trying to encourage people with the truth of God's word.
That's awesome.
They said they've just recently gotten into Christianity and they feel like they're having some problems with letting themselves relax and actually have faith. Because basically their whole life they've been relying on themselves and trusting only themselves. So they're finding it really hard to actually trust God. They want to trust God, but they're having a hard time of choosing to trust Him instead of themselves. So, Ariana,
yes,
what is your advice on how we can choose to trust God?
I think no matter how long you've been following God, there's going to be times where it's hard to trust Him. You're finding it hard to rely on Him and take that next step of faith and that next step and that next step. But I think what we can find comfort in is reflecting back on what God has already done in our lives.
That's good.
I personally keep a journal of God's faithfulness, and I'm not saying everybody should do that, but it's just a really great chance for me during those seasons where I'm like, okay, God, seriously, what are you doing? It's a chance for me to look back and tell myself, God was faithful on this day and in this season and in this moment in my life, and he's gonna keep doing that if we walk and trust in him.
You know, when I think about this idea of trusting God, I think about any relationship that we're in, that when we first meet somebody, before we actually know them, it can be really hard to trust them.
Yeah.
Right? And I think the same is true with God. Like, as we begin to get to know God, we'll start to trust him a little bit more. But the difference between our relationship with God and our relationship with, say, like our friends, is that our relationship with God is really the only relationship where we're asked to trust God more than we trust ourselves. So, like, I can trust my friend and still be friends with them, but trust myself more than I trust them. But God literally asks us to put more trust in him than we have in ourselves. And that can be really, really challenging to do. But I think like what you described, the longer that you are in that journey of following God, the more that you can look back and see how he has been trustworthy, the easier it is to trust him. Now, that doesn't mean that you eventually get to this point where you never have any questions or doubts or insecurities at all. Like, literally, we've talked about this before in Switch, the idea that the disciples of Jesus, standing on the mountain right before he ascends into heaven, right before he gives them the great commission to go and change the world. This is after he's been resurrected. What we read is that some of the disciples worshiped and some of them doubted. And so it's like, hey, I know y'all are doubting me, but I'm still going to send you to change the world. I think this is what's so beautiful about Jesus is he acknowledges that we're humans, that we're going to doubt, and that doubt never disqualifies us. It actually is an opportunity for us to get to ask some really hard questions and to learn to trust God more. And so if you're doubting, if you're wrestling, if you have questions, man, I need you to know that this is the best place that you can be, because Switch is a movement. It's a family of people just like you who are doing the best we can to wrestle with the truth of who God is and what that means for our lives. And the best thing to do is to not wrestle alone, but to do it in community. And if you don't have that, man, I'd love to invite you to one of our Switch Online experiences or one of our in real life Switch locations. If you just go to like life.church, you can find all of our Life Church locations, and there might be one near you so that you can show up to our Switch in real life experience. Or Switch Online happens literally multiple times a week. You can join in from all across the world. We have people from over 100 different countries who are a part of it. And there's a group of students with an adult leader who wants to be a part of your life that you can get connected to. And the best way to do that is head over to Switch Online. Got any? Well, I'm just waiting for you to end the show.
Oh, that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.